水道修理からポケモンのお世話まで。マルト、お任せください。
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokemon Journeys episode 61, Leave the Whole Lot to Us, the Plusle and Minun Handymen. This was the 1146th episode of the Pokemon anime. By the way, I should mention straight off the bat, if you're watching this video in June of 2021 or later and you're looking for the next episode of Pokemon Journeys on Netflix, well, you're going to have to wait for about 3 months. This video is a review of the episode that was broadcast in Japan in April, and I watched it online with English subtitles. If you're looking for a place to watch that version, then you can probably look around in the comments section and find something. Otherwise, episode 61 won't be added to Netflix in the US until June. Okay, anyway, now that I got that PSA out of the way, let's get back to the regularly scheduled episode review. And after a 2-week break, the anime was back with a new episode. If you missed it during the break, I put out a top 10 list about Pokemon Journeys, so you should definitely check that one out after you're finished with this video. It'll be linked at the end as well as in the description. The episode starts with some plumbing issues at the Cerise lab, and the Plusle and Minun Handymen come to save the day. This brother and sister duo are named Malpli and Divi, so add in Plusle and Minun, and we've got 4 basic mathematical functions, because who doesn't love math, right? After they fix the water issue, Divi trips down the stairs and injures himself, and he ends up in the hospital with nearly full body injuries. Wow, Malpli is all over the place and can't control her emotions, which is basically her personality for most of this episode. Her older brother says that she'll have to figure out how to do jobs by herself, and not only is Malpli distraught, but Minun isn't interested in helping her. I guess I should mention that Plusle is Malpli's Pokemon, and Minun seems to be Divi's Pokemon because, well, multiplication and addition go together just like division and subtraction do, I guess. This is already way too much math humor for me, let's move on. Of course, Ash and Go are such good Samaritans that they decide to help Malpli out with her job, so they go to their first assignment, and Ash and Go even get out of the company motto that I had at the beginning of this video. Their first job is brushing some rich guy's Tauros, and everyone pitches in to help. Although Minun looks less than enthused, this was actually one of my favorite parts of the episode. Minun's unenthusiastic help was really funny, especially compared to Plusle, who was so positive. Pikachu and Grookey even get in on the action, which was strange to say the least. I'm sure many of you were thinking the same thing that I was, that maybe Ash could have mentioned how he knows the best way to brush a Tauros because he owns 30 of them himself, but that wasn't brought up at all. They get a call for their next job almost immediately, and it's this guy asking for help since he lost his Tauros in what looked like a rock tunnel to me. Ash and Go make a note about how it's another Tauros job, and I was wondering what the significance of this was. Maybe there's some kind of pun or humor that was lost on me, but it did seem really random that Tauros was the theme of the episode. I thought maybe their last job of the day might be Oak calling for help with Ash's Tauros back at the lab, but we didn't get that, so I'm not really sure why Tauros kept coming up again and again. So they find the Tauros, and it's scared from being all alone in the dark, and to make it less nervous, everyone cheers for it. This was weird, but it did work, well, until Grookey went full Grookey and started jumping all over the place, which caused their exit from Rock Tunnel to be a chase scene away from the now angry Tauros. Malpli is all rattled and depressed because she feels like she's not doing a very good job and panics all the time, so Ash tells her to try taking deep breaths when you start to panic. Good advice, Ash. Team Rocket are out and about in their street clothes, and after they see a picture of the wealthy Tauros owner from before, the park water fountain starts exploding all over the place. Before I go any further, let me know in the comments, what did you guys call this thing growing up? They called it a drinking fountain, at least the subs did, and growing up in the Midwest, I heard people call it like 5 different things. Some people even call it a bubbler. Did any of you call it that? Anyways, Malpli is losing her mind at the sight of the broken drinking fountain because of course she is, and after some encouragement from her Plusle, she takes a few deep breaths and springs into action, and they get to work on the water issue. Everyone is happy once the day is saved, well, except for Minun, who is still not very excited about helping Malpli. It's inferred from Minun's reactions throughout the episode that it doesn't really think Malpli is a good handyman and doesn't trust her abilities, but we'll see if that sentiment lasts for much longer. They get another call from the wealthy Tauros guy from before, asking them to look after his Pokemon. Team Rocket overhear this and get an idea. By the way, I like how Wobbuffet is disguised by wearing a t-shirt and sliding down a slide. They'll never catch you that way, Wobbuffet. When Malpli and friends get to the job, the Tauros guy says that he already gave his Pokemon over to some other handymen, and sure enough, it was Team Rocket in disguise. Ash and Go ask them if they accidentally took the Tauros, and Ash says that they look familiar. And hold on, since when is Ash able to see through Team Rocket's disguises? Once Meowth starts talking, Ash is convinced and says,
Those lame disguises don't fool us. What kind of trouble are you three up to this time?
Well, okay, he doesn't say that, but I'll take any excuse to use one of my soundboard clips. They try to make their getaway, but trip over a construction area, which causes Meowth to fall into an uncovered manhole, and of course he happens to be carrying all the Tauros, who get sent out of their Pokeballs and stuck on top of Meowth. Everyone drops what they're doing and tries to think of a solution, and after Malpli panics for a second, she takes a deep breath and once she's under control, starts giving people orders, and even volunteers to take the dangerous task of going down into the hole herself to save the Tauros, so she's really turned a new leaf here and is acting much more self-assured. Malpli even tells James to operate the winch from her truck, and James, you know, a villain, says that he would never take orders from her. Fortunately, he happens to be in the mood to operate a winch, which is quite the fortuitous coincidence. I did like Jesse's indifference to the whole situation, while Wobbuffet was just concerned for its friend Meowth. Malpli's plan starts working, and all the Pokemon follow Plus's lead of cheering them on. Well, except for Minun, but come on, you can see how conflicted it is, and it just really wants to get in on the cheering. We get a full montage that even includes Team Rocket getting in on the excitement, but just as the last Tauros is about to be rescued, the truck's battery dies, and things suddenly get serious as everyone left in the manhole looks ready to fall down into the abyss. Everyone pitches in to save them, and Minun is so moved by this heroic action that after holding out for so long, it finally jumps in and gives its support to the team. Eventually, after all the electric type Pokemon share their energy, they are able to power the car battery enough to save the day once again. Wow, isn't Minun so cool, guys? This was silly and overdramatic, but I did enjoy it. Team Rocket graciously let our heroes off the hook and make their exit, and Meowth even says thank you for saving him. Is not something he plans on saying. That was a funny line, to be fair, and Wobbuffet is such a genuine Pokemon that it was legitimately thanking Ash and everyone for saving its friend. It's just not as ruthless as the villains it surrounds itself with. Speaking of ruthless, the Tauros that nearly got stolen won't just let them walk away unharmed, and Team Rocket goes blasting off again. The episode ends back at the hospital, and everyone is happy that Malpli overcame her fears and got the job done, and even Minun is happy to cheer for her now. I'm giving this episode a 6 out of 10 rating. So I'll be honest, I spent the last 3 weeks waiting for this episode to finally happen and expected it to be complete filler. Well, it was, but I think since I had such low expectations, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. The way I watched this episode kind of mirrored Minun. I started off being like, okay, whatever, when will this be over? But eventually I couldn't help but feel super excited by the end of it. Like I said before, it would have been cool to get a mention about Ash's Tauros, but it wasn't to be. This episode truly was filler, since the only growth we saw was from the character of the day. But I guess the regular cast members played their roles pretty well. I especially enjoyed Team Rocket's involvement. I don't have a whole lot else to say, really. Get it? A whole lot else to say? Okay, I apologize. Let's just move on. The preview for next week was about Sobble evolving, and let's cut to my reaction upon finding out that Sobble was officially going to evolve. But for real, even though I wish Sobble would stay cute and unevolved forever, it has the chance of having some real character growth during its evolution, so I'm optimistic for how things will go. That being said, Drizzile is probably my least favorite starter or starter evolution of all time, so hopefully it doesn't spend too much time at its middle evolution. Oh, and I should probably work on a new Twitter header now. It was really curious to me that the preview was like, oh, Sobble evolved, and just moved on. I feel like that evolution should be a really big deal, not the afterthought that this preview made it out to be. It even made me think for a half second that maybe this is some big trick and that Ghost Sobble actually won't evolve. But let's be honest, if its data got entered into Ghost Pokedex, then that's as official as things can get. It's kind of like when Go caught Suicune. You'd have thought the actual capture was going to be the main highlight of the episode, but they kind of got that out of the way at the beginning and told a whole new story beyond just that. That's all I've got to say this week. I'm not too fired up about Sobble evolving, but I'll go into the next episode with an open mind. If you made it this far into the video, first off, thanks for watching, and please do me a favor by hitting the like button and subscribing. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I just need a little more help from you all to get me there. And since I'm so close to hitting the big 1K, that means time is running out for you to submit questions to my 1,000 subscriber Q&A. The link to the form is down in the description, and you guys can ask me anything. I'm just trying to make an entertaining video about myself to celebrate finally hitting 1,000 subscribers. And I felt like a Q&A about myself was the best way to do it. Wow, how vain does that sound? Anyways, thanks so much for watching this video, and let me know your guys' thoughts about this week's episode, as well as your predictions for future episodes down in the comments. And check out my Twitter and Discord links in the description if you want to interact and join in on the fun. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.